Yo, what is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So how I made roughly $64,000 in just about 31 days, mostly with Google Ads. Now, in these recent times, there have been a lot of changes that have been happening with Google Ads, and because of this, a lot of people have actually started to kind of doubt whether Google Ads would be a scalable platform. Now, the specific changes that I'm actually talking about are the changes that have come with a large amount of audience coming from Facebook ads onto Google, because as most advertisers or most dropshippers already know, with Facebook ads, there's just continuous more and more problems and lower return on ad spend. And because of this, there has been a large amount of people coming onto Google. So what Google went ahead and did is they kind of became more strict with its rules, but also due to the increased competition, a lot of people started to face these inconsistencies and these lower ad spends and lower sales. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I was able to continuously, even with these inconsistencies, do roughly $64,000 profitably with 98% Google ads, and also provide you a step-by-step strategy which you can personally start implementing to achieve such results. But without wasting any more time, let's just jump right into it. So before actually taking you guys over to the actual strategy and going over the specific details, I want to show you my order metrics for this specific store. And Order Metrics is an app which basically keeps track of all the revenue, the cost of the goods, profits, etc. So as you can see, currently we're looking at last month, and which is July, but if we look at this specific year for this store, we can see that it has done over $500,000 with just specifically Google Ads mostly. But for this video, I want to focus on the last 31 days because the last 31 days were actually a little bit different. As you can see by the red number here, I did much less in sales in the last 31 days than the previous month. And all of this can kind of be connected to the lockdowns ending within the entire world. As a lot of people know, due to the lockdown, there were more and more people spending time indoors. Nobody could really go out shopping. And because of that, there was a large surge in online sales and online traffic. In fact, for this specific Shopify store, there were a few days within the past few months where I was doing over $10,000 in sales every single day. In fact, I've made a few videos on this store already. You can check them out on my channel. But within the last 31 days, it was a little bit different because, again, as I said, the lockdown specifically ending just caused this shift in what people were doing before and the shift in the amount of sales that were done. In fact, a lot of people did notice a decline in sales to the pre-lockdown levels after the lockdowns ended. But for this specific Shopify store, that was not really the case. It was still doing fairly well compared to pre-lockdown levels, because back in January, when it was just 2 months when I started this specific Shopify store, it was barely reaching $1,000 a day. But as you can see so far for the last 31 days, there was $64,000 in sales with around $38,000 in cost of goods. Only the 2% of the cost of the goods still need to be inserted, but overall, as you can see, we were left with a net profit of around $24,000 to maybe even $23,000. And this is not counting ad spend, but I'm going to take you guys over to my Google Ads account to show you the ad spend for this specific Shopify store. So if we go ahead and go on over to the Google Ads account for this specific Shopify store, we can see for last month, I only spent roughly $15,800. So basically $16,000. And keep in mind that 98% of the traffic comes from Google Ads specifically. If you look at this year for this specific Shopify store, or just look at all time, we can see that roughly $92,000 in ad spend for a total of over $500,000 in sales. That is almost a 6 times return on ad spend. That's a crazy number. But now that we've kind of gone over the specific numbers, let's hop into the Google Doc to see exactly what was going on with the Shopify store. So the first thing I would like to cover is the traffic source. As I already said, 98% came from Google Ads, while only about 2% came from Facebook ads as well as Bing ads. I'm going to be going over these specific traffic sources individually and what kind of strategy I had implemented and what kind of campaigns I had running very shortly. But before we do that, let's look at the specific website layout. So for website layout, for this specific Shopify store, I literally mimicked InspireUplift.com. Now, this does not mean I just went ahead and copied everything they did. I simply took ideas from them and kind of created my own twist. But what I want to do is I want to show you guys specifically what I did on the product page itself, because all of the other pages on Inspire Uplift, they're pretty much just similar to any other Shopify dropshipping store out there. The main difference comes on the product page. So as you can see, this is how Inspire Uplift looks like, a very, very normal Shopify store. You can even compare it to a dropshipping store. But if we go onto the product page, first things first, for Google Ads, one of the most important things is standing out of the crowd. And there are several ways which Inspire Uplift stands out of the crowd with the ads themselves. But first, looking at the product page right from the top, we can see that just looking at their specific text that they have for the prices for in stock, it's much different than an average Joe Schmo drop shipping on Shopify. So as you can see, they have the list price up here, and then they have price followed by the actual cost of the product, and then it says free shipping. Right below that, they have a special text which says you save X amount of dollars with the percentage off. Now this is something I found very interesting, and I found it so interesting that I just went on Fiverr and hired somebody to custom code this in for me on my Shopify store, because Inspire Uplift, if you guys don't know, is a very big branded store. They do almost 7 figures every single month, and if they have their layout like this, and this is much different again than any other Shopify store out there, there must be a reason to it. And keeping that in mind, I went ahead and mimicked Inspire Uplift in this case and did something similar on my Shopify store. But in addition to that, another specific thing on their specific product page that Inspire Uplift does is that they have only high quality images. A lot of Shopify store owners often have images with text on them within this section, and it just kind of lowers the overall quality of the product page in 2020. If you look at Inspire Uplift, they only have 2 photos of this product. Normally, I would not recommend having just 2, but what Inspire Uplift does is that these 2 photos themselves are very high quality. They directly showcase the product. So in that case, you really don't need any specific photo which has text on it or any other types of numbers or anything like that. And Inspire Uplift does this perfectly, not just for this product, but almost for every single product on their specific website. But in addition, if we scroll down, they have a very concise description. In fact, another thing that I really liked is that they play around with the font and the boldness of their description. So as you can see, this specific word right here, car seat organizer bag, is fully bolded. The one before that is in italics. And they do this throughout the specific description, doing this for all of the main things related to the specific product. So as you can see, they're doing it over here as well for all of the specific products which this car seat organizer can hold. So this is a very good thing Inspire Uplift does. It should definitely be improving their conversion rates because the main things are directly popping out to the customer. They can simply skip over all of the other junk and directly go to the main section, which is in bold or in italics, and they will have enough information to make the purchase. Now these things may seem very small. In fact, to a lot of people, they may seem irrelevant, but trust me, this is one of the biggest things you can do to increase your conversion rate by up to even 2%. But in addition to that, of course, you will have to have other parts such as the advertising in place as well properly. But if you scroll down, another thing that I really liked with Inspire Uplift, which I kind of tried to mimic, is that they have an ask a question section over here. So when you click on it, you can simply ask a question and directly submit the question to Inspire Uplift's support team, and then they'll reach out to you. So this is a perfect way to get back those lost sales, because often not all descriptions you have for your products will be sufficient. A lot of people will often have questions related to the product. So this makes it really easy for the customer to just reach out to you with specific questions, and definitely helps with the overall conversion rates and with the sales. But for the website, that is exactly what I was doing. Very simple, but just directly trying to mimic Inspire Uplift, specifically the product page, as much as I could. Now let's move on to the specific ad strategy. So exactly what I was doing with advertising to do this much amount in sales, and that too with almost a 3 times to 5 times return on ads. So the first thing I would like to talk about is the main traffic source, which again is Google Ads. And before I actually talk about the specific step-by-step with the Google Ads or any other advertising platform, just know that I've made extensive videos on these platforms on my channel. In fact, I have a whole Google Ads playlist which you can check out. I'll leave the link in the description below. But for Google Ads specifically, I was adding 5 new products every single day from the day I started that store. Now, the main reason why this is number 1 on my list as the strategy and why it's the most important is because Google Ads is literally a numbers game. The more products you have, the more chances of you finding a winning product. This is not like Facebook ads where you can simply have one product and test one product with multiple interests, and then if it's a winning product, just scale it to the moon via CBOs or different individual ad sets. With Google Ads, you'll often have multiple winning products getting you those few sales every single day. So if you have 100 products, you could possibly have 5 to 10 products getting you consistent sales every single day. And if you have 1,000 products, you should have roughly 50 to 100 products getting you consistent sales every single day. That's just the way Google Ads works. It's not a platform where you can just specifically focus really on one product unless it's a massive winner and then scale it to the moon and do $10,000 per day. That's why it's so important to be adding new products, specifically those with the following criteria to your store. The first criteria nowadays that I recommend is having 25,000 per month or more monthly searches in total. So for all of the keywords which you plan to use for that product. Now, I've made again a video on this on how to find those keywords. You can find out within the Google Ads playlist, but in total it should be 25,000. The second thing is I want products with cost of goods of about $100 to $200, meaning if it's on AliExpress for about $40 to $80, I can easily sell it for $100 or more. And a lot of people may think that this is bad advice because these high ticket products may not sell as much, and this could cause a lot of people to not get sales consistently, and that is far from the truth. In fact, if you take the total amount of sales that I've done for last month and divide it by the total orders that I have, which is roughly 600 or so, you'll see that my average order value was over $100. And this is not because of some upsells and downsells. It's simply because I was following this specific criteria, which is finding those products which are expensive on AliExpress so that I can sell it for a much higher price. And one thing I realized, and one thing why I even recommend this nowadays, is because it takes the same amount of effort and energy to sell a $10 product compared to a $100 product with Google Ads. So why not just go out and specifically find those high ticket products so that you can get more sales? In fact, with high ticket products, you'll often have less orders, which is not a lie, but you'll also have more in total sale amount, and you'll have more in profits, and you'll have less customer service emails to deal with. So this is like a three-way win situation for you compared to those $10 or $20 products where you need to have literally hundreds and hundreds of orders to do any type of decent amount of sales, and you'll have hundreds and hundreds of customer emails just racking up every single day. So that just puts unnecessary stress on you, and nowadays in 2020, this is the specific criteria you should be following to find those winning products. Again, if you combine this with my other strategies, you'll definitely find a lot of winning products. But the third and most important thing, which I kind of changed and which allowed me to do this consistently and over 500,000 in this year specifically, is that I was making sure that the products I'm trying to sell are available on Amazon or eBay. And a lot of people again believe that you can't dropship products from Amazon and eBay to your Shopify customers. Again, that is far from the truth. You can watch my video that I released a few weeks ago on how to dropship from eBay and Amazon successfully. But I want to make sure in 2020 and onwards that the products I'm trying to sell are not just available on AliExpress, but also on Amazon and eBay, because I want to provide my customers a better experience. In fact, I had one high ticket product, which was roughly $400. A customer came in and bought just 2 of those. So I had a total order value from this customer of around $800. After about 10 days, the product was delivered because I was sourcing it from a US warehouse, because the AliExpress supplier apparently had a US warehouse with stock for that product. That customer received that product, and within 5 days, that customer came back and placed 3 more orders for that single product. So that's $1,200 in sales just from this specific order. So in total, they had roughly $1,800 in sales just for this specific product. And the only reason why they even came back is because I provided the product to them within 10 days. This would not have been possible had I been just doing AliExpress, normal Chinese warehouses, and trying to source the products from there. So you want to really make sure in 2020 that these products are at least available on Amazon and eBay before actually trying to sell them. But specifically talking about the campaigns, I had 2 general testing campaigns running. Again, I've talked a lot about this in my other videos. One testing campaign was low bid, meaning around 10 cents. The second one was a high bid for those more expensive products, which was around a 48-cent bid limit. In addition to that, I had one smart shopping campaign running. And one thing I do with this smart shopping campaign is that I put all products in there which did not get me sales within the testing campaign and or became unprofitable in the testing campaign. So normally people would just exclude the product from the testing campaigns and that's it, they're done with that product. I do it a little bit differently. I want to give it a second chance. So what I do is I put it in the smart shopping campaign, and about 5 out of 10 times I noticed that the product actually begins to sell really well within the smart shopping campaign. And that's simply because a smart shopping campaign is very smart. It knows what bid to set the specific product at and what bid to enter the auctions at. So when it does that successfully, the product actually turns out to be a winning product. So you want to kind of be doing that as well in 2020. But the third and most important thing I was doing to kind of scale, and I'm going to be talking about scaling very soon, is that I was using a lot of single product campaigns plus campaigns called SKAGs for my winning products. A SKAG is a single keyword ad group search campaign. Basically, you have one specific keyword targeted within the search campaign. But now that we've kind of talked about Google ads specifically, let's move on to Facebook ads and to see what I was doing to kind of get those lost sales. So with Facebook ads nowadays in 2020, I only do retargeting. I try to stay away from Facebook as much as possible because to me, it was a lot of work, stress, and just low profits compared to what Google does. And I just didn't want to waste my time anymore, so I just specifically do retargeting with Facebook. And with Facebook specifically for retargeting, I have the following audiences set up for this store. So the first one is 3-day, meaning 3-day view content or added to cart but no purchased. Of course, you want to also do 3-day added to cart but not purchased. You can do this within the catalog sales, but I do this the same way for the following specific time period. So 3-day, 5 days, 7-day, 14, 30, 60. And I test all of these specific audiences within each individual ad set. What I'm trying to find out is which specific audience within these is actually profitable and which one is not profitable, because even though it's a retargeting audiences, not every single one of them will be profitable. So you want to kind of give this a few days to test at $5 a day, and that's exactly what I did for the Shopify store. And basically these are now running on autopilot. I check them once a week or so, and I don't really make any changes to them because again, they're just retargeting. But the third platform I did use was Bing ads specifically, and nothing too crazy with Bing. I had just one testing campaign running at a bid of around 40 cents. And one thing I would actually recommend that you do differently in case you want to use Bing is that you actually set the bid limit a little bit lower to maybe around 30 to 25 cents, because not a lot of advertisers use Bing compared to Google. In fact, you can expect only about 5% to 10% of your total sales coming from Bing. So again, Bing is something I just let run in the background, and I just imported my main general testing campaign from my Google Ads account onto my Bing Ads account. And this is the high bid campaign, which again is run at 40-cent bid. But those were the 3 specific platforms. Let's now talk about scaling, because scaling is often the most hardest and most difficult part of Google Ads, because again, Google Ads works only on search intent. If nobody is searching for a product or a niche, your products in total will not sell, period. So exactly how was I scaling my specific store to do these kinds of numbers? So I was basically raising budget on every campaign which was profitable every 7 to 14 days by roughly 30% to 50%. Now, a key note here, you don't want to go crazy and become greedy and change the budget by up to 2 times or anything higher than 2 times. In fact, 50% is the max limit you should be changing your campaign by. So if your budget right now for a winning campaign is $100 a day, change it to a maximum of $150, and then do the same thing again every 7 to 14 days. Don't go crazy and change it from 100 to 1,000, because you will lose a lot of money and your campaign will become de-optimized, which is one thing you don't want. In addition, another way to really scale, and something I was trying to do all along for my products, is I was increasing the product price every time I could, based on what my competitors were doing. And at the same time, I was trying to lower the cost of the goods, meaning find another sourcing agent, maybe use CJ Dropshipping, maybe find another eBay seller. And a lot of people don't really pay attention to this, but this is also another way to scale, because if you simply increase the product price and then also decrease the cost of the goods, you're technically scaling without raising your ad spend, and you're basically not going to be losing out on many sales, if any at all, and have more profit in the end. So that is kind of considered scaling. But in addition, another way I was scaling was through these SKAGs campaigns, which is again single keyword ad group campaigns. Those are very, very powerful. I have a video on that you can check out on my channel as well. But something else that you can really use to scale your campaigns is doing single product campaigns with the optimization target ROAS. Target ROAS may not be the best way to scale, and in fact, a lot of the times you'll notice that target ROAS actually lowers your ad spend to get it to a bare minimum, meaning you'll barely even spend possibly $5 a day. But with whatever ad spend it does do, it's gonna get you a very, very high return on ad spend. But this is kind of something I really don't do as much or recommend, because again, this could really limit your scaling ability. Yes, it will increase your profits, but if you lower your sales from 100 a day to only 10 a day with target ROAS, it's not really worth it. So you want to kind of test it out, but if it's not working, just go back to the normal scaling methods. But in addition to that, another thing I was doing was I was adding similar products to those winning products. So for example, if I had a wireless printer, which was getting me tons of sales, it was clearly a winning product. I went out on eBay or Amazon or AliExpress and I tried to source multiple different wireless printers to show to the audience. And oftentimes you could find a lot more winning wireless printers with this method as well. And the final method that you can use is, in general, just scaling to other specific platforms, in this case Bing ads, or you can do Facebook, Pinterest, etc. That depends on your skill level. But these are the specific scaling methods which I have all used for this specific Shopify store. And this is exactly how I made roughly $64,000 in sales in just 31 days. If you found any type of value in this video, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.